G'day Middle Years, welcome to week 5. Now before we slide across and have a chat with our Middle Years counsellor, Mr Brian Schofield, I just want to do a big shout out, alright? A big shout out to Mr Armand with his Year 8 Leading Without a Badge Day with Luke McKenna. That was a fantastic day and a really good day for the kids to spend time together and bond and mentally explore themselves, you know, as leaders. Who are they as leaders and challenge themselves? So a big shout out to Mr Armand for that. The other one is, I am just so impressed with how NAP plan has gone this week. Absences were minimal. You know, there's only a couple of kids in Year 6, a couple of kids in Year 7 away. All the kids, we really spoke it up in a positive way. NAP plan's more about us than the students. Get in there and have a go, do your best. And we really pumped the kids up, and I know you did it at home as well, so thank you very much for that. It's probably the most positive I've ever seen the students. Best attendance. It was just a real good event this week. There was not much anxiety at all here at school, so thank you very much for all that. Upcoming events next week, next Friday the 19th of May is Walk to School Day. Miss Cope, I think, is organising that, the HPE teacher in junior year. She's a champion. So the kids at 7 o'clock are meeting out the front of Coles and then walking to school, and that's always a great opportunity to get photos, and we play them on the TV at the front reception and all that. So if you want to get your photo, kids, get up the front. Also, Mr King, he's got a new jumps coach, which means that he's probably changed his little timetable around a bit for after school, the free athletics program, which is from 3 to 4 in the afternoon on the Oval. So that is in the parent portal. You can get into there and have a look at what training is available for free, be it all your running events, long and short distance, be your jumping events and all your throwing events. Okay, so have a look at that. He's a dead set champion, Mr King. He works really hard and he does a lot for the school, so we're really proud of him as well. Welcome Middle Years to another vlog. This week I wanted to talk to Mr Schofield. He's our Middle Years counsellor. It's an integral part of our student wellbeing in St Andrews is that we work together with our year level coordinators, who are actually our year level partial care coordinators, is their role. We have counsellors, one counsellor for each sector in the college, junior, middle and senior, and obviously myself, and we meet quite regularly to talk about student wellbeing. So this week I thought it would be really good to sit down with Mr Schofield, who is our Middle Years counsellor, and he does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to helping Year 6s, 7s, 8s and 9s through their issues. So welcome, Brian.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Can you just share with us what sort of reasons do the students have for coming and talking to you?
Oh, well, there's a wide range of reasons why kids come through the door there. Primarily, something's bothering them, whether it's a personal thing or they're having trouble controlling their emotions. There's quite a few kids who come in with family concerns. We do get referrals from the year level coordinators for behavioural issues. Some children come in for academic purposes. Grief and loss issues, you know, family tragedy. So it just depends on, you know, really what's going on in their world, I suppose, that brings them through the door here.
But it doesn't have to be a big catastrophe, does it? It can just be anything that's getting in their way of learning.
Well, for some kids it might be, you know, their goldfish died the night before and they're feeling pretty sad about it. So that to them is a big issue. Whereas for other kids, you know, it's the issue is much deeper and complicated.
And I think as adults, that's one thing that we can miss quite often with teenagers, is that we may dismiss their concerns as being, oh, their boyfriend dumped them or something like that. But for those kids, they're very real events that have very real impact on their thinking and their learning and their social skills. You know?
A tremendous impact on their learning, and that's why I guess we're employed in schools, because if kids aren't in the right emotional space, then the chances of them learning to their potential is quite minimal.
Excellent. Yeah. So how does a student, okay, I'm a student at St Andrews, do I need my parents to refer me, or can I just come and make an appointment? How does a student get to the situation where they're able to come in here and have a chat with you?
Yeah, that's a good question, because in middle years it's a bit more complicated. The grade 6 students need parent referral because they're still at that age level, but from grade 7 onwards they can self-refer without mum and dad knowing. Quite often when kids get a bit older, the issues are with mum and dad, so you know, they don't really
the usual teenage
Yeah, the
angst,
teenage.
of not enough freedom,
That's
and
right.
mum and dad don't trust me, all the things that
Too
we went
strict.
through. Yeah.
No.
So, Brian, how did you were saying about a Year 6 student needing a parent consent to
Yes.
come and have a conversation with you. So Mrs. Carney is sitting down with me and yourself at a welfare meeting. She identifies some students or a student that might need to have a chat and need a bit of help. What's the process involved there in that child then getting the okay to come and see you?
Well, parent contact would be made either through the teacher, or Mrs. Carney might contact the parent just to alert them as to that there may be an issue, and counselling could be an option. Sometimes parents don't particularly want their children to come to
Yes,
counselling.
that's fair
They
enough.
want to try and sort it out before it gets to that point. But should it be that they do need to seek counselling, then a form would be given to the parent to sign. Those forms are from prep to grade 6, and without them we really can't see the student in a formal setting, in counselling setting. So that's how that works.
Absolutely. And the last thing, and I know it's very important as a parent myself too, you can get nervous about this situation where you feel like the kids are going and talking about things that are, to somebody else and you don't know what's going on. But there is within that relationship, there is confidentiality with the child, but there are circumstances where that confidentiality is broken, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a very good question as well. Like we actually go through, I've got a confidentiality form there and one there that we go through with the students and let them know that anything they say inside this room here is kept between myself and the student, except if we think that they're at some risk of harm, and then we have to report that on, and so we make those people aware of that. And also if their files, because we keep confidential files in a locked filing cabinet, they may be subpoenaed by the court, so we need to act on that and copy the contents of the file and send it to the legal authorities.
So it's not just a casual operation here, it's that you're actually bound by legislation.
Oh yes.
It's very, very well organised, very confidential
Yes.
and professional.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we keep it that way. The three of us run a fairly professional counselling service for the college right across from pre to 12.
Thank you very much for your time, middle years parents. I hope that was informative for you and that you understand a little bit more about what goes on at the college. Thank you.
Thank you very much.